After receiving my bachelor's in child development from SDSU and getting married a month later, we immediately started a family, and I decided to put my plans of using my degree to work in a clinical setting to be a stay-at-home mom. 3 kids later, I decided to head back to school for a multiple subject teaching credential at APU when my baby started kindergarten. I enjoyed teaching 1st and 3rd grades and a position at the district office in Temecula supporting special ed teachers with curriculum and instruction. It was through this experience that I decided, with 3 high schoolers getting ready to head to college and involved in a wealth of extracurricular activities, that I might as well head back to school to obtain a special education credential and a master's in digital teaching and learning. My action research project was inspired by how emotionally and physically exhausted I felt while taking on a K-1 SDC position and splitting my pants at a recent school assembly due to my significant weight gain. After a considerable amount of research, I found that the symptoms I was experiencing might be related to the significant increase in unhealthy carbohydrates I had been consuming. I wanted to eliminate my crashes in energy, mood swings, and the downward spiral of eating more sugar when I had succumbed to the pressures of life. In order to adopt a healthy lifestyle, I set out to answer the question, could I decrease my consumption of unhealthy carbohydrates each day over the course of 3 weeks? And would I notice an increase in energy and a decrease in my stress levels and mood swings? I measured my carb intake daily through observation and data collection. I was able to drastically reduce the number of carbs I consumed each day, but was not successful in completely eliminating unhealthy carbs from my diet. My mood over the 3-week period was stable and healthy. I noticed a remarkable decline in my stress level, which may also be attributed to my increase in energy levels and weight loss. Through my coursework at APU, I am better equipped to teach the digital natives. In EDUC 512, Instructional Applications Productivity Software, I took a class trip to the Apple Store where I learned basic capabilities of an iPad. I left the store with an iPad mini, and throughout the course, I learned not only the technical skills of the iPad, but how to use technology in my classroom. I created a web quest on the life cycle of a plant. In EDUC 522, Learning in the 21st Century, I learned how to differentiate instruction to address students' multiple intelligences and learning styles. I planned units with differentiated instruction with technology embedded throughout the units. In EDUC 511, Foundations of Educational Technology, I developed an e-portfolio using LiveBinder. I also had an opportunity to reflect on who I am as a Christian educator teaching 21st century learners, and created a Wordle from a paper I created on cyber safety. In EDUC 514, Digital Video in the Classroom, I learned how to use the iMovie app on the iPad. I learned how to keep students engaged in learning through visually effective shots, using cognitive dissonance, and adding music to iMovie. I created a video to motivate students to memorize their sight words and decompose numbers. In EDUC 515, Evolving Educational Technology, I learned how to use blogging in the classroom. I created a free website and blog using Weebly, and learned more about how to create cognitive dissonance in the classroom. Oh my. You got your disappointments and sorrows. My name is Wendy Teifelt, and I have created a kindergarten social skills unit addressing IEP goals. All of the lessons are based on Tier 2 positive behavior interventions and supports. The IEP goals addressed in this unit are accepting no for an answer, asking for help, listening to others, following instructions, greeting others, and waiting your turn. This unit plan incorporates technology standards, and digital materials are heavily embedded throughout the lessons. The California Common Core standards for speaking and listening and physical education standards are addressed in this unit. Because students learn, remember, perform, and understand in different ways, Gardner's multiple intelligences will be addressed throughout the unit. We will begin our week-long lesson on accepting no for an answer by reading I Just Don't Like the Sound of No by Julia Cook. Students will use the VoiceThread app on the iPad to narrate pictures that depict accepting no for an answer. Students will be able to practice their skills by playing the game Taking No for an Answer. They will be pulled individually to describe how they feel when they are told no, when they really want something, using the Tap to Talk app. They will create a feelings chart using Poster Board, formulate a hypothesis about what would happen if students choose not to accept no for an answer, and record their thoughts on iMovie, or use GarageBand with teacher support to compose a melody of rules of accepting no for an answer. The second week we will focus on asking for help, and we will begin our week with a PowerPoint. Students will follow along with a PowerPoint presentation as they practice asking for help. They will use the iModeling app to role-play how to ask for help and design a custom avatar at Voki.com. Students will be given the opportunity to use the ScribblePress app for iPad to write a social story on how to ask for help. They will also use KidPix to draw pictures to express how to ask for help, view a song and dance on YouTube via the smartboard, and practice singing along or synthesizing ideas to determine times when they may need to ask for help. In week 3, we explore the steps of what it means to be a good listener. Students may choose the My Pictures Talk app or the Talking Tom and Ben app to model desired behaviors. The Verbally app allows students to practice the appropriate steps for listening to others. Students will be grouped according to multiple intelligence strengths. They will either be illustrating how to listen to others by drawing pictures using the iCreate app, or using the VoiceThread app to arrange their own tune and sing to pictures depicting how to listen to others, or organizing a list of steps for listening to others and recording their answers in Microsoft Word. The lesson will be introduced using a PowerPoint presentation on following directions on the smartboard. Students will work at inspiration.com to chart steps of following directions on a graphic organizer. They will utilize the classroom laptop. At lessonpix.com. They will create a social story on how to follow directions. Each student will have the opportunity to choose a puppet, and together they will perform a skit on following directions using the Puppet Show app on the iPad. Stuffed animal puppets will be used to act out the steps for following directions. Students will use deductive reasoning to describe possible consequences of not following directions, and the teacher will record the results using Dragon Dictation. The students will use the Songify app to create a song on following instructions. Students will be introduced to the steps of greeting others through a PowerPoint presentation shown on the iPad. They will use Conversation Builder to record their conversations on how to greet others. They will go out to the garden and have some fun with Mr. Harry, and then practice greeting others through dramatization with Mr. Harry, while the teacher records dramatizations in iMovie. The students will work quietly on their own to narrate story on greeting others using the VoiceThread app. The teacher will group students according to multiple intelligence strengths. They will have their choice of taking pictures using Snapseed on the iPad and create a photo collage on greeting others, using the mini piano app to teach the class the steps of greeting others by playing the piano while reciting steps, or retell and sequence events through illustrating, writing, or verbalizing using the Scratch app. Students will be shown a PowerPoint presentation on waiting your turn. The students will follow along utilizing visuals displayed on the smartboard and total physical response modeled by the teacher. Students will watch the 3-2-1 Penguin Planet video clip on the smartboard and will communicate with an elbow partner what the children could have done differently. Students will pull a social skill out of a bucket and demonstrate a given social skill acted out in iMovie. The teacher will show the movies on the smartboard, and students will guess which social skill is being acted out. Through this course, I have learned ways to embed technology in my daily lesson plans to engage and motivate my students. I have learned to teach to my students' strengths and the importance of centering my teaching on individual learners. Utilizing Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences and Bloom's taxonomy, I can differentiate instruction to meet the diverse needs of my students. The past few years I have felt as though I've been in a tunnel, unable to turn back or change lanes. But all along I've known how imperative it is to stay close to God, to pray, to listen, and obey. For He knows the plans He has for me, plans to prosper me and not to harm me, plans to give me hope and a future.